Aaron Rodgers was and still is a big fan of The Office. And one of the best things about The Office, they do those testimonials all the time. And no matter what happens, good, bad, or otherwise,
right,
they always find the positive in it, right?
Yes.
They're shutting down the branch one after another. Oh, it's a positive. They're not shutting down the branch one after another. Oh, it's a positive. I mean, come on. And look, I am becoming a gigantic Aaron Rodgers fan. But don't give me this stuff that it was good to get curb stomped yesterday by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's nothing good about it. You had 2 weeks to get ready for that game, and that's what you put on the field, and that's somehow a good thing? Come on, Chris. Come on.
No, I mean, I hear you, but you know how athletes are, Mike. You know that's the way it goes. I mean, they're going to try to find some silver lining. You know, more times than not, too, in those type of games and a blowout loss. We've gone through this, too. You go back and you watch the game a few weeks later, and you go, man, 2 or 3 plays, and that game could have been totally different. I mean, I think, there is a case to be made to that. I mean, Aaron.
wait.
Hold on.
Okay.
And Aaron Rodgers, he can
that.
say all he wants to say. You're right. But those 2 or 3 plays we're talking about were certainly him this time around. It was nobody else on the team, anything like that. He definitely struggled yesterday. And, yeah, he was the jump-off point for the big turnaround with the pick six and everything right there to where it fell apart. Yeah, I get it. I know what he's trying to say, but that wasn't a good loss. It didn't look good. They got dominated. They got beat up. I mean, I would have a hard time, I think, in a few weeks looking back at that and going, oh, it was just a few plays, and I think it was that, it would have been different. I'd be a little bit worried if Green Bay had to see this team again later on down the road.
Yeah, I'm done with that 2 or 3 plays crap. Here's why. Last year, as the Packers were getting ready to play the 49ers in the playoffs, I went back to the Sunday night game, and I convinced myself, just 2 or 3 plays.
Well,
that's all it was.
That was your fault.
If it had gone differently, if those 2 or 3 plays go differently, 49ers may have lost that game to the Packers. I think the Packers can go out there and beat the 49ers. They've gone into this Bob Greasy offense where they're afraid of Jimmy Garoppolo and Aaron Rodgers going back to all that stuff. Roll it up in the ball and throw it out the window. They got the crap kicked out of them twice. And here's the thing about the Matt LaFleur Packers, who are very, very good in the regular season, now 17-4.
Yeah.
But when they lose, they don't screw around.
No.
They don't hold you in suspense. They had the one loss to Philly late September of 2019 at home on a Thursday night that was a close one. Their other 3 losses under Matt LaFleur in the regular season, and let's throw in the playoff loss as well. 4 total losses over the past 2 years where they have had the crap kicked out of them. I mean, it either goes their way, start to finish, or it doesn't, and it's over, and pack up the stuff and get on the plane and go home.
That, Mike, I mean, that's it. That's Green Bay. That's why they're an underwhelming 13-3 team last year. I mean, in a lot of ways. And it's why I think, after yesterday and even going into this a little bit, I had questions still about their defense and some of those things there. But the big thing, and what we've seen through the Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur era, and the way the team is built, they are built to have a lead in a football game. That's the way they are built. Hey, we're going to come out. LaFleur will have a few cool plays. Rodgers going to be efficient. He's going to hit a few big ones to get us down there close to score. We're going to get a 10 or a 14-3 lead early in the game, and now we got these good pass rushers. And Mike Pettine's kind of creative and crazy on the back end, and it plays into their hands. But, yes, when you see that, the offense is struggling and the other team gets to play balanced football and do things like that, they have a hard time. It's not their type of game. And I think, again, that was exposed yesterday. That's one of the things that worries me about Green Bay. And I think, there's a little fugaziness about how good they are as a football team. I think Rodgers masks that a lot of weeks with his efficient play and some of his playmaking.
I'm aware of fugazi.
Yeah.
I don't know that fugaziness is an official term.
It's a little Chris Sims twist on it.
I like it.
Okay, you like it?
I like fugaziness.
Okay.
Yeah, yesterday went from, Aaron Rodgers to, Aaron Rodgers.
Ugh.
Yeah, Bruce Arians, after the game, Buccaneers coach, explaining how they confused one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
You don't usually get Aaron confused, and that's one thing I don't think I've ever seen him confused. But when you start running him down and chasing him out there, early in the game he chased out and he made a lot of plays. We just kept chasing him, hemmed him up a little bit.
Oh, they definitely hemmed him up. And how about Ndamukong Suh settling some old scores? Remember the time when Suh stepped on the lower leg of Aaron Rodgers back at the time when he had a calf injury. And Suh got suspended for a game, for a playoff game, one of the few years that the Lions actually made the playoffs, appealed it and won. And I don't think this argument saved the day, but one of the arguments he made was it was really cold that day at Lambeau Field and his foot was numb and he didn't know where he was stepping. Right. So there was something there. There was some heat there going both ways. And to his credit, a guy who doesn't make plays like he used to, he wasn't quite Aaron Donald, but he was the closest thing to Aaron Donald of his day.
Yeah.
He still, when he flashes like against the Chargers, forcing the fumble that sparked the 17-point comeback. And then yesterday, he was one of the main reasons why Aaron Rodgers was so battered and bruised and rattled.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucs D, it's got really big-time potential. That's why, Mike, I sit here and I still think, yeah, I know the Bucs are sitting here at 4-2, but I'm not so sure they're not the most complete team in the NFC. They're still a work in progress, but what are the weaknesses of the Bucs? You know, somebody tell me. Where's an area on the team where you go, oh, that's a weakness? I mean, the D-line is the real deal, and that was the big difference in the game. You're right. I mean, Suh is a force. He does pop a handful of times. He's immovable in the run game. So, like, his bad plays are just like, oh, stalemate at the line of scrimmage. You have 3 guys blocking me, and I didn't move. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. But we haven't seen Rodgers under pressure like that and confused like that, I don't think, since the 49ers of last year in those 2 games where we saw, you know, feet hopping around and, hey, the pocket's clean, just chill out. It's all good. And then, you know, oh, I think this guy's open and the pump fakes and the pulling it back and doing all those things. So I'm excited to see the back end of that, you know, film and see what Todd Bowles did to kind of trick him that way. But either way, they won the physical battle, and it looks like they won the schematical battle just watching on Sunday.
We're talking about the running game, and, you know, not long ago, Aaron Jones, the toast of the league with that big game that he had against the Lions. 10 carries, 15 yards yesterday. Eesh.
That's what I mean, though.
5 yards per carry.
With the lead conversation, because it is a team that, yeah, we get the lead. Now we can run the ball, but you can't totally sell out on the run because we might burn you with the big play action pass and do those things, and it lends itself to – okay, yes, a crack here, a crack there, and Aaron Jones takes advantage of it. But, yeah, I mean, you know, again, I know Tampa lost that Thursday night game to the Chicago Bears. I think we're seeing that Chicago's better than we want to give them credit for. And this Tampa team, I mean, has real potential. When you look at the NFC, right, Mike, right now, you go the Seahawks. Yeah, we know, but their defense is horrible, you know. And then you look at Green Bay, and I think there's questions about that defense as well. You start to go, damn, is Tampa, I mean, New Orleans, I mean, they're right in the mix of that conversation for me. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, a few weeks ago, we had kind of agreed it was Seahawks, Packers, Bucks,
right.
And then Tampa loses to Chicago.
Right.
And we have our doubts about them at 3-2 when it felt like they were putting something together. And now that the Buccaneers have beaten the Packers, you got to say maybe it is Seahawks, Bucks, Packers, Seahawks, Packers, Bucks. Maybe it's Bucks by the time it's all said and done from the standpoint of having a complete team that can win in January.
Right.
That's the key.
Right.
Setting yourself up to win in January. And that Seahawks defense, unless it improves, is not going to be the kind of unit that wins in January, especially if they have to go on the road, Chris. Although right now, you know, the good news is for them, Packers losing, they're the last unbeaten team in the NFC, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean they're sitting pretty in a good spot right now, and we know that could be an important spot this year to get that first round bye and do all those things. But yeah, there's a lot of football to be played here. I mean, Green Bay, of course, still has to play the Bears twice. They got a lot of other teams on the schedule here. And Tampa, we know, is still a work in progress. But, you know, again, we see yesterday defensive playmakers. We've talked about the front seven. The secondary, I know we've had conversations about it's talented but raw and messes up every now and then. But you saw yesterday the talent it does have. And then they can run the ball, and they can pass protect. And Brady is getting more and more comfortable within the offense. I mean, Chris Godwin was less than 100% yesterday, and Mike Evans didn't even play. And they scored 38 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, on the Green Bay Packers. I think that should be a warning shot across the NFC bow right there to go, uh-oh, Bucs might be figuring this out.
And the defense really was key. I mean, you think about what you're saying. If the Packers build a lead, that's when they can do the things that allow them to compound it and to just pull away. Well, they're up 10-0.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's 38-10. I mean, it didn't happen quite that quickly, but it turned fast. It's 10-0, then it's 14-10, then it's 21-10 along the way, the pick six. Here's Aaron Rodgers on the key moment where things turned with the pick six and why the pick six happened.
Yeah, I mean, shit happens. It's partly. I haven't had a lot of those over the years, but the wind was blowing pretty good right to left. Like I said, I felt good about the spot. I knew he was tight. We've hit throws like that. I missed my spot by probably a foot or so, and the kid made a good play.
He had to squeeze in that. I haven't had a lot of those.
Yeah, he did.
We know, Aaron.
We know.
You
You're
don't
one
have
of the best
to tell
ever
us.
as far as that's concerned.
We understand.
Right.
We understand. That's what makes it more glaring when it happens, though.
It does. It does. You don't see him make those. Well, that's 10-0 lead. Rodgers never turns the ball over. He's efficient. He throws for 70%, and they're hard to beat that way. But that's not the case yesterday. And yeah, that ball, didn't look like Rodgers uncorked it, or just unleashed the Kraken to say, I'm going to throw my fireball in here to 100 miles per hour. And Davante Adams, I think the way he ran the route and kind of attacked Demps, who's a young corner out of Auburn, I think he thought he's not going to run the go route. Rodgers kind of stared him down, and this kid Jamel Dean was kind of staring in the backfield the whole time too, having a view of Rodgers and how he was setting up, and made a good break and made a good play. But then the crazy thing is you go, okay, Green Bay might be able to do something, get something going, and then they throw the next interception. And that's a play again. It's Aaron Rodgers to Davante Adams, a slant route, tight window. But Davante Adams hasn't played in a while. Ball goes off his hands, intercepted, 2-yard touchdown run a few plays later. And then still, Mike, you go, Green Bay is not out of this. And then Rodgers misses a big throw down the left sideline to Aaron Jones where he bobbles it and then misses Mercedes Lewis. And that, to me, was where I was like, wait, they had a chance to kind of regain some momentum and maybe get down in field goal position, and it didn't happen. And then Tampa just stamped on their throat. Stomped on their throat.
Stomp.
Yes,
Stomp,
thank you.
Stepped, stamped, whatever. Hey, here's a glimpse and in real time how jarring it was.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my normal position watching the games while I'm trying to line up the various phone calls that I make after the 1 o'clock Eastern time games, and it's 10-0, and I heard you saying, it looks like the Packers are, have their way with the Buccaneers. So,
right.
Yeah. So I go over to the position where I sit to take notes and do a couple of these phone calls, and I look down at my phone, and my son texted me, Aaron Rodgers pick six, and I'm thinking, well, that's interesting. And then I finish the phone call, come back, and it's 14-10. It's like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
That's how quick it happens. And once that flipped on the Packers, it felt like there was nothing they could do about it.
No.
And it's out of their control. And it gets back to your original point. You have to find a way to short-circuit them early, or they are going to ultimately stomp on your throat. You have to get on theirs, or they're going to get on yours. And it doesn't happen very often.
No.
Just like an Aaron Rodgers pick six doesn't happen very often. But when it happens, it's ugly, and it makes you wonder, can they avoid it when the season's on the line? That's the key.
Yeah,
if they get to the playoffs,
right.
well, even if the road to the Super Bowl goes through Lambeau Field, I think with no fans, it's not as critical as it would be. But who knows what will be happening by January? But it just feels like whether it's 2, whether it's 3 steps to get to the Super Bowl, or in the Super Bowl itself, can they avoid what happened yesterday for an entirety of a postseason? I'm not sure they can. I'm
not sure they can either. I think it would have to fall their way. They'd have to be very fortunate to, somehow find a way to, where it just fell their way to the first-round matchup as a team that's not really complete, or they match up well, whatever that may be. But, yes, I have questions. I think what we're both saying is playoff football against complete football teams, and they kind of seem like they kind of got to play the perfect game to me to play those kind of games, and that's just hard. That's a lot of pressure, and it is a lot on Rodgers. When they get behind, again, this goes back into the other conversation too. See, it's not when you don't have great receivers, it's hard to come back either that way. So they're not a great we'll get in a shootout with you type of team. No, that's not Green Bay. That was maybe Green Bay 7-8 years ago, but not anymore. They're not like that now. So when they're down 10, 14, 20 points, the offensive pass scheme itself is creative, but not like one of the 5 most creative in football where you're just like, they can dice anybody up. And then the talent at the receiver position, Is probably a little better than league-wide average as far as that's concerned. Maybe below average. It's below average. Who the hell am I kidding? And that makes it hard for them to come back in games like yesterday, too, because no one can make that big play to kind of get them off the schneid and turn the momentum back their way.
So back to the original point, if it's some sort of a wake-up call, is it an alarm that they'll respond to? Can they really fix it? You know what I'm saying?
I know. I don't know if they can.
Maybe we thought we were better than we are. Well, guess what? We're not. We're not better than we were. This is who we are. What can we do on the fly?
I think it's just going to have to continue to be like this is the formula we have to continue to approach is play our style of football where we're great with our first 15 plays that LaFleur draws up to start the game, and they get out in those leads, and then they can Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, and send all crazy blitzes and play crazy coverage. But I think that's going to have to be their main focal point. Yeah, they'll try to get better at the things they're not worse, that they struggled with yesterday. But I do think the main thing for them will be to stick to that formula we've talked about. They need to play for a lead, get you in that spot there. Rodgers will continue to be efficient because you don't know if they're going to run or throw the ball, and they can kind of put you in a tough spot, and they can get a little crazy on defense. But, yes, I would worry about them with a lot of teams in football. They're lucky in the NFC. There's not a lot of complete teams right now. We'll see where that conversation goes in January.
We need to pivot to
Yeah.
the Broncos-Patriots, but I got to get something off my chest that only I am going to care about, but I'm not going to be able to function until I mention this. Yesterday was the 46th time in NFL history that a final score was 38-10. I've got a bad connotation with 38-10. Let me tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
December 22, 1996, the 23rd time in NFL history that a final score was 38-10. For the first time ever, I went to a sports bar to watch the Vikings. I'm having my entire Vikings fandom flash before my eyes now that I've annulled the relationship.
Yes.
I dragged my wife there. We got a 3-month-old at home. We lined up a babysitter. We go to the sports bar. Well, first of all, I don't factor in the possibility that Packers fans are going to be there, which made it an unenjoyable experience from the start. Game was tied 10-10 at the half. I'm thinking, hey, this is a Packers team that went on to win the Super Bowl. Vikings got a chance at Lambeau Field. Final score 38-10. So anytime I see 38-10 now, I remember that day where I decided I'm never going to do that again. And I've never done it again since then, although now it doesn't matter.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.